Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Spiritual Transformer. So, today's topic, no matter how many times I try to rehearse it in my head, it just doesn't always come out right, so I'm just gonna talk and see what happens. So, a couple of weeks back, I saw a YouTube video of a debate. It's a debate between feminists and anti feminists. And I didn't watch all of it, but from what I remember, it was the anti-feminists were all about going back to femininity in terms of women being more nurturing than men. They should go back to that, and then of course the feminist side is saying that women should just basically do whatever the heck they want. And when this debate kept going on, I kind of just thought to myself, do we have to have or need a debate on this? Because from my standpoint, it just seems to be not so much a debate, but rather just an issue of respect. Like, you know, the role of women has changed over a lot for the past several decades, and I think it just boils down to acceptance and respect. If a woman wants to go to university and go for a high powered career, great. If they want to bring out the more nurturing side and become a traditional wife, I think that's fine too. I mean, it just depends on the person. One person wants to do this, one person wants to do that. I think it's okay. And you know what? Nobody says you can't do both, even though it's really hard. Women can still go to college, university, post grad, whatever, and still become a mother. I think it just boils down to acceptance and respect. A person can do a lot, almost anything. And I think it just comes down to whether or not people see it that way and are okay with it. And of course, the issue eventually in the debate turns to men about how, well, here's where it gets a little sticky on my side at least. Me, I'm a man. And I've seen the roles of men change in my life. When I was growing up, men were the breadwinners. I mean, and the women just stayed at home. I mean, that's how it was with my family, right? I've seen that. And then I went to school, and then I graduated from school. I started work, and then all of a sudden I see the opposite, or more like a balance. It's more like men and women both go to work, and men and women start families and they have kids, and men and women still go to work, even with kids. And then now I don't even know. Like, is there even a balance anymore? Like, I have no idea these days. And again, I just think it comes down to just acceptance and respect. I mean, if men want to stay home and cook, raise the kids, fine. If the men want to consider doing traditionally masculine things like be a breadwinner, fine. I don't see anything wrong with either or. And I think maybe that might be the problem. Like, I don't see anything wrong, but a lot of people see a lot of things wrong. And maybe it's just not so easy to accept. And maybe because people look at the dating scene today and how fewer people are having children or even getting married, and some people might be concerned. But again, that just boils down to acceptance and respect. Folks don't want to start a family, folks don't want to get married. Why not just let it be? Do we really have to be so gung-ho about it? And maybe it's not just about feminism or anti-feminism. There are other factors out there that could impact whether or not people get married or have children. And one of those factors, I think, is just the dating scene. So I don't think I'm the only person to notice it, but even though the roles of men and women have changed, it seems like expectations haven't changed with them. I mean, a lot of the women, even after they become girl bosses, become leaders and high powered individuals with high powered careers, a lot of women still want men that are make more money than them, like before they would consider dating them or getting married to them. That's kind of a new situation with an old belief, and I think it's very, very obvious to say that there's not much of a match there, right? Your pool of men for women who wants their man to always make more money than them just shrinks the higher up you go. And yeah, and men have it rough too. I know people like to bash on men, but I ain't gonna do that because men going out there, they think they can do what their dads did, and they find out that due to economics or the labor market or even both, they can't. They can't get that high paying job to support a wife and a family who just wants to stay at home. Maybe some can, maybe some can't. But whether or not you can or cannot sometimes seems out of your control. And that's kind of the point. So I think here men and women both have their expectations set a certain way, but reality says otherwise. And that's causing a lot of issues with the dating scene. Now, I don't really want to believe some of these YouTube videos or newspaper articles that say, dating is just trash these days. So I'm going to let you in on a little secret that I think might help. Might not even be a secret. Again, I think that even with the dating issue, it still just boils down to acceptance and respect. So I'm going to tell you who I think are the people who are most successful in the dating game. Sure, the very attractive people are always going to be able to find dates no matter what. Sure. The richer you are, the easier it gets. Yeah, I'm not even going to deny that. So yeah, the type of people who end up getting dates are really sexy folks and the really rich folks. But you know who else ends up getting dates? I think the people who end up getting dates are the people who respect other people. That's it. If you're a person who can respect another, have compassion for another, you look at the other person and you see them as they truly are. If you have that kind of ability, then I think you're golden, right? And by seeing them as they truly are, I mean, don't just look at what they look like. Really see them for who they are. Really see who they are on the inside. And it's all cliche, right? I mean, you must have heard that before. There's nothing new. But this is a channel on spirituality, so I gotta tell ya, there is something new. So in spirituality, you've all heard it before. There's something called the law of attraction. So it works for dating as well. If you can see other people with respect, with compassion, with understanding, if you can see other people as they truly are, if you can see them for their souls rather than who they are simply on the outside. A lot of people are wearing masks these days. If you can do that, then the law of attraction states that like attracts like. So you will end up finding people who can do the same. You can end up finding people who can also understand you, who's also respectful towards you, and who see you as you truly are. So yeah, the law of attraction just means like attracts like. And when two people who can really see each other, who can really respect each other, who understand each other, who are compassionate to each other and loving towards each other, when these two people come together, what do you think is going to happen? Maybe there's some romance in the air, So I think there's a good shot that you just bloody ignore the internet, ignore everything else, and just say, you're going to go out and you're going to respect everybody, and you're going to accept everybody, and it doesn't really matter if they're a girl boss or they just want to, wear pink and take care of kids. That's fine too. And yeah, what better couple than a couple who can understand each other, right? If you don't have these basics down, then even when you do find someone, it might not last. So I say just roll with it. Roll with some acceptance, roll with some understanding, roll with some love and some respect, and see how it goes. Anyway, I'm a happily married man, so I like to think this stuff works, what I'm saying. And that's what I can offer. That's what I do myself. So that is it. That's it for today. I hope this video turns out well. No matter how much I try to rehearse this in my head, it just seems always to fall off the rails. But I think I did pretty well here. So if you like this content, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you more next time. Bye for now.